Hey, what's going on, guys? So, coming at you here from the corner of the screen. What's going on? Good morning. Well, it is still morning for a few minutes. I suppose it depends on where you are in the world, but here in sunny Florida, it's still morning for another 9 minutes. Rare stream. Yes. I mean, it's not that rare. A rare Gundam-based exclusive stream, that's for sure. What's going on, guys? I'm just kind of curious about the weather, actually. It is sunny here at the moment. Is it sunny at home? Yes, it is. All right, good. So, good news for me. That means I get to mow the yard when I get home. Fun times, fun times. I was planning to yesterday, but it rained like an hour before I got home, so it wasn't raining at the time, but nobody wants to mow wet grass. That's like worst case scenario, last resort. I like absolutely had to mow for, I don't know, whatever reason. What would be the reason that would force me to mow in that situation? I don't know. If I was like, if my family was going on vacation and we were going to be gone for like a week, and I wanted to make sure that the grass wasn't like outrageous, then I might mow wet grass. But otherwise, no. So I'm all gloved up because, yeah, this thing is going to be a fingerprint magnet, at least on the armor parts, which are all plated. All the frame parts, of course, are not plated. They're just in a molded gold. So we're going to have a few different shades between our molded gold color for the frame, and the armor is in two different colors of plated gold. Basically, everything that was in white on the original kit is in one color of plated gold, and everything that was red or blue is in a different color. I think that's basically kind of how the parts are laid out, it would seem. So yeah, this kit is actually, I'll make some adjustments here for you guys, sorry. This kit is actually on loan to me from friend of the channel, John. So thank you, John, for loaning me this kit and for being patient. He sent this to me a couple months ago. It's just taken me a while to get to building it here, obviously. So it's been in the queue, and now we're finally getting around to it. So have the kids mow the lawn for you. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that, but unfortunately they're not quite big enough. My son is 9, not even 10 yet. I'm sure for some people that might be okay. It's still, I think, a little bit young, in my opinion. So I don't. He's offered to do it, actually. He's like, but I'm sure it's like one of those things that like a kid's thing where like they're excited to do it because like they want to try like doing what dad does, but then like once he actually does it once, he's gonna like not want to do it again, I'm sure, kind of thing. But yeah, we'll see. No, he's asked me a few times when he can do it. I told him, yeah, you need to be still a little bit older yet, so not quite. And then my daughter is even younger, so yeah. That's not going to be an option for a while yet. My neighbors across the street, actually, they're, I don't know, how old are they? It's a husband and wife couple, and they're probably around probably late 50s, around 60s, something like that. And the wife actually cuts their grass there. Something that I don't think is an option at our house either. It's just me right now. Of course, we could always pay someone to do it. A lot of people, I don't know if this is like throughout Florida or throughout America. I don't know, or if it's just like, I don't know. it's common, at least in our neighborhood, that a lot of people use like a lawn service. So you don't see a ton of people that actually are out mowing their lawns by themselves. There's actually a Chinese family down the street that like they mow their own yard, and I do. Let's see, is there anybody else like nearby my house in the neighborhood that I've seen mowing their yard? I don't think so. Yeah, there's another family like up the street, because they have like a teenage son. He looks probably around like 18 or so, 17 maybe. He mows their yard, which I haven't seen him do it in a while. So maybe he went off to college or something. Maybe they do use the service now. I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, that's what's going on in my world, lawn mowing. But what's going on with you guys? Let's see. There was something I wanted to mention about, but I'm drawing a blank. Anyway, this kit. Interestingly, the last live build we did was the RG Shining Gundam, and now we're back to the God Gundam again. I don't recall if I live built the God Gundam when it first came out. I think that I probably did, though. So this is actually going to be the second time live building this Gundam, and the Gundam itself is obviously totally the same. There's nothing different about this version of the kit other than just like the color of it, the plating. So, nothing really too much to talk about in terms of like the build. I imagine a lot of you guys maybe have also built this kit now at this point, perhaps. The regular version of the kit, I should say. Let's see. First, I just want to catch up in the chat a little bit. I haven't basically read anything that's been going on. I've just been kind of focused on the build here for a minute just to help kind of get us going. 2 shades of gold. Yeah, it's 2 shades of gold for the plating, and then the 3rd shade of gold if you include the non-plated inner frame parts. Let's see. Especially bad for electric lawnmowers. Yeah, mine is a gas mower. My other like lawn tools, my edger and my trimmer, my weed whacker, are electric, and my blower as well are all battery powered, and I'm very happy with them. But I don't think that I would want to mess with like a battery powered mower. I've heard they're decent, but I don't know. It just seems like battery powered works well enough for like the smaller tools. But I can't imagine that like it would really be good for like a mower yet. Maybe someday, that'd be great. But at least for the time being, I think that you just kind of need that gas power. Let's see. Wait a minute. Okay. Gotcha. Good to see everyone. Anyway, hello everyone. It's been a while. Glad to pop by. MJ, hey, what's going on? MJ's here. Will you review the MG Turn X once it's back? I hope so, man. I hope to get one. If and when that is finally actually getting reprinted. I've seen, we talked about this in a previous live stream. Someone mentioned it, that it was for sure getting reprinted. At that time, I hadn't seen anything that really confirmed it. So I was in disbelief. And still, just based on what I've seen, I've not seen it like really super concrete. Just that apparently there was that thing from Bandai that it's says it's like scheduled for reprint like after the beginning of 2026, something like that. I think we talked about this on the live stream, the last live stream with Adam and I on the USA Gundam TV channel. where like the wording of it, it's like when you like when there's like a sale in a store that's like having a sale and it says like up to 50% off. That means that like there's at least something included in the sale that's 50% off. But as far as the majority of the sale might be 5, 10, 15% off, something like that. It's just like tactical corporate wording for stuff. And so with Bandai announcing that the Turn X is going to be reprinted sometime after 2026, after the beginning of 2026, I think it was like something along those lines. That's how the wording went. That's great. That's not really anything too concrete to get too excited about yet, though. So ultimately, whenever it is reprinted, yes, I'm looking forward to it. I will definitely be trying to get my hands on one. But until that day, I'm just not gonna focus too much on it. I've got lots of other stuff to build. I hope it is. I'm looking forward to it. Let's see. Hobby paint can't replicate plating looks though. Yeah, it's difficult. Don't get a battery powered lawnmower. I got one a few months ago. Hot something while mowing, it died on the spot. Yeah, infernal. Yeah, I mentioned the Chinese family down the street. Oh no, not them. I don't think so. Either them or no, actually that's another lady right next to them that also mows her lawn. And one of them, I think it's the older lady. I think she has an electric mower, battery powered one. And yeah, it just doesn't seem like a good time. It won the reprint poll, Dylan. As far as the Turn X, yeah, that's the thing with like the polling. The polling really doesn't mean anything, and this is something that we've unfortunately had to learn over the years. Take the master grade G-Quad, or not the G-Quads, the G-Self, yeah, master grade G-Self, for example, won a poll years ago, and obviously that still has not happened. And that's just the case with more often than not, the polls don't ultimately lead to anything, unfortunately. But it's just kind of a way for Bandai to get a sense of what people are wanting, really. And then sometimes that might actually lead to a kit getting produced, or maybe a kit going into planning perhaps. But yeah, normally if it's just something that just won a poll, just unfortunately just doesn't really mean anything. But in the case of the Turn X, I had seen that there was something that did say for sure that it is scheduled to be reprinted. It's just that they were very kind of squishy on when the reprinting is actually supposed to take place, which I also understand, just because they may not have it set in the actual printing schedule yet, the production schedule, and so they don't want to say scheduled for reprint in spring 2026. And then they kind of end up having to move things around in the schedule or whatever for whatever reason, and then they have to change it. And then I really don't think that it would be that big of a deal to have to change that, but I can understand why. Maybe they just don't want to have to go back on their word of when they were going to be reprinting that kit. So here's our first leg. And yeah, definitely a good idea to wear gloves while handling this, because I didn't wear gloves while going through the process last night of removing all the nubs and everything. So there was a lot of dust and fingerprints, but wearing gloves helps to keep the fingerprints off while you're building, and also you can wipe off any other dust. It does a pretty good job of that. It's the focus. I've tried to refocus this, but it's just kind of challenging for it to look and focus. But there, as you can see, it looks pretty cool. It's very shiny. It's a small kit. Indeed, yeah, it's not a big kit. That's true. All right, let's get our other leg. I'm just following the natural course of the manual for this one. So you guys know I sometimes like to bounce around a little bit. oftentimes maybe building like the torso first or something, but today we're just gonna take it easy and follow the instructions. So I've got a review going up later in the day, where the next review that's going to be going up is the next in the Grande scale from Quadribucia. The Grande scale Innocentia is the review that'll be up later today. So you guys can check that out. And otherwise, where's the other half of the foot frame part here? It's right in front of me, isn't it? It's right. Where? Hang on. Oh, yeah, there it is. Yeah, the Innocentia. No, not Innocentia. Yes, Innocentia. Frame arms girl. Grande size. Grande scale. If I can get it out. That one's going to be going up later today. And as for me, after I'm through with this live build, I'm going to go spray some surfacer. I've got a bunch of parts for one of the kits that I'm working on for my super secret project. One of the kits is ready for surfacer, which is good. Oh no. Do I have that wrong? No, I don't. Okay. Do I? Let's see. So that's good. That project is moving along pretty well. It's, pretty on pace. Let's just say I had an idea. Do I have? I think I do have that part upside down or something. Something just doesn't look right. I had an idea for the pace of the big project that I'm working on, and I'm definitely kind of off my pace. No, what the heck? All right, no, okay. I'm definitely not keeping pace, but I'm also not at all surprised by that. I kind of knew that I wasn't. Things were going to take longer than I expected, and I just wasn't going to be able to ultimately keep the pace. So long as I can finish by the deadline, that's really the only thing that matters. So a little bit behind, but I'm still feeling confident that I can finish by the deadline is the main thing. So aspects of the project are also kind of evolving a bit here and there along the way. Some things kind of adjusting the plan for certain things in certain ways to kind of make adjustments that I'm happy with, but then also that kind of serve the dual purpose of also being a sort of time-saving measure. For example, deciding, okay, I'm going to do, for this aspect of the build, I'm going to do this instead, which I'm happy with and I think will look good, and has the added bonus that it will be quicker to do. It won't take as much time. So kind of finding ways that are working out in my benefit, considering I'm on a tight schedule. So I've been curious about the Star Wars models as well. Bandai's Star Wars models are really, really nice. That's another project that I've got in the queue. As some of you may have seen, not too long ago, I did an unboxing video for the Perfect Gray Millennium Falcon. I need to work on that as well. But yeah, right now I'm just kind of focusing on trying to get my secret project all done. And then after that, we'll kind of get back to other things. Other projects that I just kind of put on hold, both big and small. And the Millennium Falcon, obviously a big one. But so we will get back to that. And certain big, not projects, but certain big kits just have a tendency to keep coming out, and some of them I just like can't delay. So, for example, the Osiris model kit, like the kind of not Kshatriya 100 scale, like master grade style Kshatriya model kit, just came in here at USA Gundam Store, and I am going to be building one of those. At first, I wasn't sure like if I was going to, and I wasn't really necessarily planning on it, especially just recently because I've been working on my project. Kind of wasn't really planning on building an Osiris, but not surprising to me, the kit arrived and it looks pretty dang cool, and so it's kind of hard to resist. And so I'm gonna build one also just because I think a lot of people are kind of curious about it. So yes, we'll be building that. I'm not sure if I'll be live building it necessarily, but I think maybe I might, just because I think that people also might be interested in seeing that. I don't know. Would you guys, the like master grade Osiris kit that I'm referring to? Would you guys be interested in watching a live build of that? I'm just going to assume the answer is yes. I mean, if you're watching a live build of this, that means you're probably at least somewhat interested in watching live builds generally, and probably would like to see something like big and unique like that kit. So is that a fair assumption? What do you think? Zaku tank? No. There was that old what was that company? Motor King, wasn't it, that made that Zaku tank kit, like that master grade style Zaku tank? I didn't ever get that because it looked kind of bad, to be honest. I mean, I like the idea, and I would hope that, my hope is that Bandai would make like a master grade Zaku tank. I don't anticipate that ever happening. Maybe a high grade if we're really, really lucky. But I mean, I would love like a nice new master tank. Not master, a nice new Zaku tank kit would be cool. Yeah, I just don't think that we'll get one. In the meantime, if our only options are basically the old 144 scale like non-grade Zaku tank, or the Motor King 100 scale Zaku tank, honestly, I think I probably would just prefer the old one. I mean, obviously the 100 scale Motor King kit would be like I don't know, fancier. It have more details and everything. It would, I don't know about like the quality of the build, but like, assuming that the build quality is halfway decent and it doesn't have like loads of fitting issues and everything, it would be an easier build, compared to something from the early 80s. But I don't know. I think for a design like that, I think there's just the design of the Zaku tank is just kind of charming and derpy on its own. So like you might as well just kind of like lean into that and just enjoy the derpiness of the old style kit. It just kind of matches the design well, I think. So there's our legs. Very shiny. The Osiris seems pretty neat. Yeah, it does. It's pretty cool. I think I'm gonna separate the unboxing and the review, just because it's a big box and there's a lot of stuff in it, and so sometimes in that case I like to just separate it just so that the video isn't like way too long. So I'll probably do an unboxing video and probably have that up for you guys like maybe tomorrow even. And then yeah, probably will at least do part of the build as like a live build, maybe like next week, possibly. But I also have like a couple of high-grade G-Quox kits that I finally was able to get my hands on. So there's a couple of G-Quox kits that I would like to like get caught up on first. At least that was my plan anyway. So I might work on those, and then we'll see if I can get to the Osiris kit by the end of next week. Maybe we can get to like the first part of the live build by like next Friday or something like that. Possibly, we'll see. There's just always a lot going on. So try to get to as much as I can as soon as I can, but you know, only so many hours in the day. Yeah, it does have a lot of runners. Nafuyu, that is true. You're assuming that you're referring to the Osiris kit. Yeah, it's a big box though, and yeah, it has a lot of runners. It's one of those, like with the Golden Warrior, if you guys saw my review of that one, that like for some reason the contents were like separated into multiple boxes. It's the same thing where it's in multiple boxes, but at least it's in like one outer box. So like, but then inside, yeah, there's actually 3 boxes inside that everything is separated into. But it's pretty much like just 2 boxes of runners, and then 1 box for like all like the LED components and stuff. LED components. What else is in there? Effect parts. I popped one open like to take a peek at it yesterday when we got them in. Where's the little flat part for the back skirt? Or for the little skirt flap? I'm sure. Oh, there it is. Yeah. I'm sure it's staring me in the face. All right. The little flap part that will cover. Ah, damn. It covers the attachment point for the action base if you're not having it on an action base. Okay, I think we got everything there, right? There we go. Okay. All right. Anyway. So let's see. Yeah. I don't know if you guys saw my video yesterday talking about the new announcements from Bandai. Well, exactly as predicted, just shortly after my video went live, Bandai released more new images of the kits. You guys saw the video. I mentioned within the video that, you know, when we get these new announcements from Bandai, I usually like to wait a day, because we'll get like one photo of, you know, whatever new product first, and then, you know, like a day or 2 later or something, then we'll get some more photos and more information. So I usually like to wait. I know, like, for anytime there's new announcements and stuff like that, like everybody in like the Gunpla YouTube and content sphere, everyone's like in a rush to be the first ones to share the announcements and get those juicy clicks. But I usually like to wait and just kind of see what more information is going to be available, just so that in my video coverage I can try to give you guys a complete view and sort of analysis, sort of, as it were. But yeah, I waited a day, and it seemed like, well, that's all we were going to get for the time being. So I went ahead and made my video, and then hours later, we got the additional photos of the kits. So, oops. Oh well. So if I was a real YouTuber, what I would do is make another video going over the additional images and stuff that we got, but I don't know. I don't think that that's something that I'm going to do. Wait. little bit late, but what are your thoughts on the new MGSD announcement? I know you've said in the past the Destiny isn't your favorite, but does the MGSD version change your mind? Well, Patrick, you're exactly right. And no, it doesn't necessarily change my mind. It's still not one of my favorite Gundams. But I mean, it does look good. And you know my thoughts on the MGSD line generally. I really, really like the line. The kits are fantastic. The Barbatos also, not like one of my favorite designs ever, but I enjoyed that MGSD kit enough that I actually, as you may have seen, that I did a custom build of that straight away once that was released. And I actually was planning to do a custom build, or at least some kind of painted build of the MGSD wing when that came out as well. But I just had other stuff going on at the time, and so that's shelved at the moment. But that is something that I would like to come back to and do later. A custom painted build of the MGSD wing as well, because the line is just really, really nice, super nice. So yeah, my thoughts on the Destiny Gundam generally aside, of course I'm looking forward to the kit just because I enjoy that line a whole lot. They're really kind of peak Bandai technology. Probably just show them off in a community post or something if you're interested in showing them at all. What's that now? Oh, the new photos, you mean? Yeah. Yeah, I might just share some photos, or what I was thinking is maybe later towards the end of the day today or something, if I have some time. Like I said, after this I'm gonna go spray some primer on some parts. After that, if I've got some time left in the day, maybe I will just do another live stream, just sort of like a little impromptu kind of live stream where we'll just kind of look at the photos, and I'll just talk a bit more about it, about my thoughts and analyses on the photos in that format, rather than as a fully produced video. I think that's a good plan. So either do that later at the end of the day today, or maybe first thing in the morning tomorrow, something like that. I could do it from home at night. It's probably best, in terms of when's the best time when most people are available to watch online. I think that the evening time, US evening time is the best. But I also just don't like doing live builds from home if I can avoid it, just because I don't have a proper mic, I don't have proper lighting. It's very echoey, and yeah, I don't have anything closely, remotely resembling a proper setup there. So I can do it if it's an emergency, or I've done I don't think any sort of live thing necessarily, but I've done things where I've appeared on other people's channels where they wanted to do some kind of interview or something like that, and just that was just the only time that I was available to do it. So I told them, well, I can do it from home. It's not going to be under the best conditions. That's happened a couple times, I think, when it's just basically comes down to just that's the only time that scheduling will allow. Other than that, I like to avoid it as much as possible. One thing that I'm a bit worried about with this kit, now that we're starting to get a few of the sections together, is that it does feel a little bit kind of, what's the word? Squishy in hand. I feel that feels a bit Feels a bit repetitive to use that word again, as I just used it not too long ago in a different sense. But anyway, like, I don't know. Yeah, it doesn't feel very solid, basically, which is not pleasing. It does not spark joy. It looks fantastic, though. Feels very similar to the Akatsuki, which, if you know like about what's similar and what's different between the kits, you would imagine that it wouldn't. The reason for the Akatsuki feeling kind of squishy was nothing to do, or at least mostly not anything to do with like the gold plating, more so to do with just the fact of the recycled strike frame. But this one, obviously, with a much better frame and a much better base kit for how nice the RG God Gundam is, for this to feel similarly squishy to the Akatsuki, that leads me to think that that gold plating and molded gold frame is just doesn't have the rigidity that the regular coloring, like a regular version, would have. Either it's because of the gloves. I don't think so. I don't think it's necessarily because of the gloves. I mean, it just, yeah. I mean, obviously the gloves would make it, feel different, like to the touch, but that's not like exactly what I'm talking about. I'm talking more so like the movement of the kit is what I'm referring to, not just like the texture or whatever necessarily. So we're up now, building our way up, as you do with an RG, up to the inner frame now. Or not the inner frame, the torso is what I meant to say. To the torso. Can't remember if the gold-plated unicorn felt squishy as well. I'm not sure. Have I built a RG Phoenix? I believe that I have. Yes, I think I did. And I don't remember how that one felt either. But I would imagine it's probably something similar, yeah, actually. Phoenix feels normal. I think it's the gold plastic, and maybe that's it. I don't know, because you mean Mafia? You mean like this, the gold plastic for the frame, maybe? I'm not sure. Maybe it is the gloves kind of adding to that feeling, possibly, but I'm not going to test it and find out. I'm not going to slob my fingerprints all over this kit. Once I get this thing clean, I'm going to hope to keep it clean and not handle it at all, unless I'm wearing gloves. So for the review, I'm also going to have to wear gloves, which fortunately, because it's a kit that I've already reviewed, I don't have to like go through, like, I don't have to handle the kit quite as much as I normally would for review. Well, because of it being something that I've already done a review for, I've already kind of gone through all the articulation and gimmicks and everything like that I would normally need to cover in a review. In this case, I can just hey, that's interesting. I, for some reason, forgot that this this version doesn't come with the full decal sheet. It only comes with this sticker sheet, which is interesting, isn't it? And we have 4 different options here for this. No, wait, there is a sticker sheet, isn't there? Is not there a sticker sheet in here? Oh, that's right. That's the, let's see. Looking at the manual. So the manual, here's the regular manual. So this would be like stickers based on like what's from the regular kit, which we don't seem to have. But the thing is that, like, so then you would think that this extra bit that we have for the Gundam Base Limited Hyper Mode version, which shows the sticker sheet here, would let us know where the stickers go on the kit, but it doesn't. And the problem is, there's a couple of stickers. I mean, it's just like camera stickers on here mostly, but there's a couple of these larger gold ones. I'm not sure where those are meant to go. Let's see. Okay, they go in this bit inside the shoulder there, which obviously I think we're not gonna need to really bother with that because the part's already gold, so we don't really need to put a gold sticker on it. But we'll see. We also have these little bits that are meant to go on the knees. Let's see, which again, it's already gold. This is just a way to give us the little black triangle on the inside. Might as well throw that on there. It doesn't look half bad, and it gives us that little bit of black in there on the knee. So for example, let me zoom in and show you guys. So see, no sticker versus sticker. I mean, could go either way, but I'm gonna go ahead and we'll go ahead and throw that on there. As for the chest, so which one should we go with? Let's go with, so you have one that's just red, one that has the King of Hearts logo in like a kind of mirror finish, which would catch the light pretty well, I guess, if the angle is right. But if the angle is not right, I mean, it just looks very dark. So maybe I'm going to go with the white one. We are going to put a clear part over the top of it as well. So I think the white one's probably the best way to go. Now, where were we? Page. Yeah, that goes on here. Am I still zoomed in? All right, sorry about that. Hang on. So, might as well show this to you. That goes inside here. And I don't have anything. Let's see. And then the clear part goes over the top of that. And then I think that's probably the best looking option, right? Yeah. Okay. Make sure that that clear part is pressed in good and well. Do not want that popping out on me. And that goes here. What are those tweezers that you're using? Yeah, the USA Gundam Store ones. That just like angled and pointed ones. Yes. I'm not like super like I'm not like swear by having like angled ones. So basically you have like kind of three most common types for tweezers, like the straight ones, curved ones, and angled ones like this. This is just kind of what I have. I like using this. I definitely like the either curved or angled ones more than just straight ones, especially like for putting on decals and stuff, because like having that angle at the end, I don't know, it's just feels like more comfortable. If it is actually, I'm not sure, but it feels like it is. So that's just kind of my preference, but it's not like not anything like that. I think that they're like the best option, that style of tweezers or whatever. So I don't know. Okay, I guess that's right. Next, that's upside down. Here we go. Are these the same? Yes, looks like it. And let's see. Almost thought. Oh, I just got the Sloth Sin model kit yesterday. The runners also look like very soft plastic. Oh, the that massive sloth kit. Did you get one of those, David? You got that fast. Well, that just arrived here on Monday, and you got it on Tuesday. Did you come in and pick it up or something? We're just that fast getting that stuff to you. I'm assuming you ordered it from us, and we just got that on Monday, I think, right? We're talking about the same kit. Yeah, that kit arrived on Monday, and the Osiris, aka Kshatriya kit, arrived, let's see, yesterday. And what else has been coming in? There's been like a lot of different stuff coming in. The Zombie Girl model kit from Himoxian, that one also came in. Yeah, okay. Came in yesterday. I just got super lucky with the shipping. Oh, so yeah, maybe yours was just, just went out straight away. And you're not that far, so I mean, like, it doesn't to ship to you within a day. I mean, it's not super surprising, but still, it's nice. Wait a second. It's the wrong side there. It's also upside down. All right, that's that. At least for now. All right, there it is. Let's see, we all cleaned up. As far as I don't know, I haven't seen in the chat. I'm sure somebody probably asked about the marks on this. There are definitely some. They, obviously they had to have known that they, had to plan a gold-plated version of this kit. So there was a lot of undergating, but certainly not everywhere. And I think it's just the problem with undergating a kit like this is that there's a lot of small parts. So especially on like little parts, there's sometimes just not any good spot to put like an undergate. But there's a lot of big parts that also just have gates that are just like right on the side in very inconvenient spots for some reason. So I don't know. I think they had to kind of balance between like wanting to make the kit in like its regular version as good as possible, while also having to keep in mind that they have to plan out a plated version as well. Because like there's parts like for like on like around the lower part of the leg where there's I'll show you just a second. So like right here, there's a couple of nubs. It's good to show you. Right there, you can see on the side, and right below that, right there. So like this part right here could have been separate pieces. It's just like one part that goes around, which is nice. Especially for like the non-plated version, just the regular version. It's cool having that just as like a single piece because it's easy to paint and everything. You don't have any seam lines or anything. But when it comes to the plated version, it sucks because then there wasn't like any good place to put the gate on there necessarily. I mean, I feel like they probably could have put it in a different spot. I don't know. Trying to give Bandai some credit, but let's see. I'm disappointed that this goes full gold aside from the eyes. I was hoping that the chest part would be metallic green. Yeah, I guess so. Speaking of gold, have you built the Uma Musume figurized Zack? No, I've not. I've not built any gold-plated. I know there's that gold-plated Go-Rai kit, like the Final Battle Go-Rai kit that's gold-plated. But I've not like seen it in detail, but I can just assume that it's got lots of bad marks on that kit, and it's a big expensive kit, and I just like it's way too extra for me like to really be that interested in. But yeah, I know there's that. There is also the gold-plated. There's two different Mecha Musume gold-plated kits that are coming out in like the near future, in like the next 6 months at some point. I don't remember exactly the release date for either of them, but there is a gold-plated Durga, like a Durga Ritter, I think is the gold-plated Durga Frame Arms Girl kit that's going to be coming out, and then there's also a God's Order kit, the new God's Order kit from Max Factory. There's going to be a gold-plated version and just a molded gold version if you don't want to spend quite as much money. Yeah, the Durga Gold Ritter, that one does look really cool. But yeah, then the God's Order kit also. So even just the regular version is expensive, and the gold-plated version is even more so. It's pretty crazy, but it looks super cool. Yeah, the Durga will have some nasty nubs. Yeah, I mean, I love Kotobuke kits, but like seam line placement and gate placement is not. They do a lot of things really good, but not everything. They are still working on improving like their seam lines and gate placement on anything that's like a plated kit and things like that. I think it's just a lot of it in this could just be like my cope, but I get the sense that a lot of that is just due to Kotobukiya being more so than Bandai. Kotobukiya being more of like a model kit company, like for modelers, like by modelers for modelers sort of company, where they're not really as concerned about like accessibility for like kids, where like a lot of Bandai's focus is making sure that like their products are build friendly for younger audiences, where Kotobukiya is just like, oh, we just want to make cool model kits. And so there's kind of an assumption that whether it's right or wrong, I'm not sure, but I think like there's an assumption there that the majority of their customer bases are going to be people with a little bit more modeling experience, and maybe people that are less likely to be turned off by a kit having more seam lines and things like that. Possibly. That's kind of the sense that I get. But that could be wrong. Don't know. Koto kits are still easy compared to old house. Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, for sure. I agree. They're not like difficult kits by any means. But like compared to like Bandai's kits, by design are very user friendly. So anyway. All right. So as you can see, I am like simultaneously doing my best to. I'm not sure. It seems like it's working pretty well, but I'm trying to like wipe the parts at the same time while building the parts to kind of maintain as much of the finish as possible. Or not just like maintain the finish, but just like clean the finish anyway. Wipe clean the like little pesky dust and fingerprint bits that are visible on the surface here. Do you guys have that where, like, depending on like maybe some particular music you were listening to during a build, or like a movie or a show that you were watching during a build, so then like anytime after that, whenever you think of that kit, it always just reminds you of like whatever media you were consuming at the time when you were working on the build? You know what I mean? I know we all have that. For me, for this kit, I think this particular version of the kit anyway, I don't know about the original version, I've already forgotten. That type of memory usually sticks with me for like a few days, but I don't think it's something, it probably doesn't really stick with me for anything too much longer than that. But at least for this kit, considering that I was just preparing the parts last night, it's reminding me a lot of pina colada. Because I was, while working on this build last night, I decided kind of suddenly after finishing dinner that I wanted to have some pina coladas, so mixed some up and had one, then had another one, and worked on this kit and enjoyed some pina colada. This is very good. Huh? Built the blue shield liger my first Zoe while watching Seinfeld for the first time. Oh, that's interesting. Never been a big Seinfeld person. Actually, I know that's it's heresy maybe for some people. I'm not sure, but it's just one of those things. I think it's also maybe a lot to do with just kind of like the environment you were raised. If your parents, and it also maybe, I mean, now that it's like much further back in history, maybe different, but at least like for people my age, I guess it just kind of like depends on if your parents were fans of it. Seems like a lot of people in my age, my generation, their parents were Seinfeld fans, then they were Seinfeld fans, or if their parents were Friends fans, then they were Friends fans, or what else? I think might have. Well, okay, let's see. So, anyway. Huh? Okay. I'm tripping out because I know there's a very specific way that these finger parts go onto the gauntlet, and I want to make sure that I'm getting it right from the start so I don't have to take these apart again. the my big secret project that I'm working on, I would say, oh well, it's going to well, I'll say that it's going to like remind me, just in terms of like talking about like how we're reminded of media that we consumed during the building process later, but it's gonna remind me, I think, a lot later of Dune, as I mentioned in that the video the other day, like reading, like talking about your guys' like original Gundam story ideas. I showed you that the cool new Dune T-shirt that I got. It's just because like Dune's been very much on the mind lately, and I've like rewatched the movies a couple times over the past few weeks, and it all kind of started with I'd seen both part 1 and part 2 when they came out, and I don't think I'd seen them really since then. I had been wanting to rewatch them. And then I was when I went to MomoCon that would have been May. When I went to MomoCon in May, on the flight there, they had Dune Part 2. So but it's like a short flight from like Daytona to Atlanta. You know, it was quite short. So I watched like the first half of the movie on the way there, and the second half of the movie a couple days later on the way back. And like it kind of got me back into it. And then on the flight, then like 2 months later in July, when I went to Korea, they had it on the flight there again. So I watched it again on that flight. And then like since then, yeah, it's just been very on the mind. And I've rewatched both movies a couple times now over the past couple weeks, and especially like while I've been working on my project. And it's one of those things where like it would be great, like because it's like such a cool like series with so much like, you know, there's like so much content there that you could like borrow like inspiration from or something in some way, that it would be cool to like include some sort of inspiration into like the project that I'm working on, some like Dune inspired aspects into the build. But the problem is like there's just like, I mean, I'm sure there's always a way to include something like that, I'm sure, but like the nature of the project that I'm working on, it's not really, it wouldn't really make sense to include anything like that in this build. So while, you know, this project may end up like reminding me a lot of Dune later, I think that it would have been cool to build something Dune related into the project, but it's just, I don't think there's any really good way to go about doing that. So, and that's fine too. Mm-hmm. Have you read the original books? No, I've not read the books, but I really want to. Now, I thought about listening to the audiobook, at least like for the first one or something, and then like I decided no, I should probably just wait and just read it first, and then like listen to the audiobook later, like if I want to like revisit the story, or may rely on listening to the audiobooks for like some of the later installments. But at least for the first one, I want to just read it properly myself. I'm actually getting it today. So I had been on the lookout lately for like a good deal. Like so there's like the 6-book set that you can get, and that's what I wanted to get. It's like around $50 or something like that usually, and which is not terrible. But I have been like on the lookout on like Facebook Marketplace, hoping to find someone that would have them for sale, like for cheaper. And I finally did like find someone who had this set, but they wanted like $60. They wanted to sell them for like $10 each. And like I asked if she would go any less than that, but she didn't want to, so I was like, all right. Finally, recently, a few days ago, I found someone who has the set of just the first 3, and it was a good price, so I got that. I'm actually getting it later today, so it was like $15 for the set of the first 3 books. It's not bad. Yeah. So I will read that. Yeah, in the past, I don't know, like in my 20s and early 30s, I didn't really, and definitely in my teens, because I didn't enjoy reading at all at that time. Once I got a little bit older, I actually like started to enjoy reading more. Didn't spend as much time doing it as I would like, just because doing other things, whatever. But in the past couple years, especially, I've gotten better at taking more time to read. But yeah, in my 20s and maybe early 30s, I wasn't really into a whole lot of fiction, really. Mostly nonfiction, a lot of like philosophy stuff, for the most part. A fiction book like every now and then, like I don't know, 10 years or so ago, maybe I read like Watership Down for the first time. Just obviously because of like the Gundam reference is like how I knew about it. But that was a great read. That's actually still like one of my favorite books. Not only because of the Gundam inspiration, but it's just a really good book. So I recommend that. But anyway, yeah, over the past year, or yeah, pretty much like year, I've really kind of, well, maybe like the past 2 years, I've number one, gotten a bit better at like reading more, and 2, gotten more into reading like actual fiction stuff. So the last couple of books that I read were I read The Running Man from Stephen King, which is, we're getting that new movie of that coming out, which is really awesome. And what did I read before that? Read Martian Chronicles, Ray Bradbury. That's one that I first started basically kind of reading that in high school, actually. I think it was in high school, maybe college. I picked up a copy. I don't know how I came across it or whatever. I think I did start reading it in high school. I came across it in the library, like my high school library, and it was kind of interesting enough. I think like I had to. It was probably for some assignment because, like I said, I just was not a fan of reading at the time. But seemed kind of cool, like sci-fi stories on Mars, whatever. So, but I never finished it. And then I think, yeah, later when I was a bit older, I don't know where or when, came across a copy of it and picked up a copy of it just because I thought, oh yeah, I want to finish reading that someday. Again, started reading it, didn't finish it. So finally, last year, I finally finished it, read the entire thing. And I enjoyed it a lot. Anyway, so that kind of got me started down this kick of enjoying fiction more, especially science fiction. And yeah, so now I'm really looking forward to reading Dune. Also, let's see. Just the other day at like our local used bookstore, because also kind of on my hunt for Dune, we have a local used bookstore, only one kind of really in the area, other than like Goodwill or something. And we do like sometimes check like books at Goodwill, because like if you can find something at Goodwill, it's like the best option, because the books are like 80 cents, like that, ridiculously cheap, less than $1, which is crazy. You don't often find anything worth that much, but sometimes there'll be some good stuff, especially like we've gotten a lot of books for my kids there, so it's great. But anyway, we went to our local used bookstore here, and they did not have Dune, but they did have another series that looked pretty good. Like I checked the reviews on it, and it is the Worlds series. It's a trilogy. Ryan, what's up? We got 5 minutes and still wanted to hop into live build. That looks so shiny. What's up, Ryan? Yes, it's very shiny. But yeah, the Worlds trilogy. What's the author's name? He's the same author that wrote Forever War, which is his most famous book, which I've not read that either, but I imagine I'll probably have to like add that to my list to check out at some point. But what's his name? Battleman or something. What is it? Starts with a B or D. Oh, what is it? Worlds book series. Haldeman, yeah, Joe Haldeman, that's it. Yeah, so picked up that set, which does look pretty good. Also kind of similar, like sci-fi dystopian future sort of vibe to it. Look into the Sun Eater series and the Red Rising series. I've not heard of either of those. Those sound pretty good, but there's lots like it. And then like when I go to the bookstore, I'm also like very easily sold on like just seeing like the like cool like design of like the book cover itself. So like there's been times where like I go with my kids like to just like a Barnes & Noble here, which we'll stop in like if we're in like so there's a Barnes & Noble here that's not very near. It's like over on like the other side of town, so we don't like go very often, and we don't like we hardly ever buy anything there because most of the books, like I said, like if we're getting books for the kids or something, we it's just if we like find something good at Goodwill or I don't know, some other circumstances of getting stuff for the kids. And then like for my wife and I, yeah, it's just like something similar. Or if it's a book that like we really want, we'll find like a used copy on Amazon or something. But yeah, sometimes if we're in the area, we like to just stop into Barnes & Noble just to like look around. But yeah, when I go to like the sci-fi section there at Barnes & Noble, I always find lots of stuff that looks good. And so like in my phone, I've got like probably dozens of photos of books that I picked up at Barnes & Noble and thought looked interesting that I want to check out. Where just like it's just a photo of the book, so just like to make a mental note of it, I should just like have like an actual text note rather than photos would probably be better. Just to make like an actual list of stuff that looks interesting there that I come across. But yeah, I'm very much just sold. And like if it's got like a cool cover, cool looking like cover and typeface and everything, and like the title sounds like something interesting, like I'll read like the blurb on the back. If it sounds like even remotely interestingly enough, I'll be wanting to check it out. But yeah, I'll tell you, the main problem is just time. Just do not have as much time as I would like to read. But it's definitely something like I would highly recommend for you guys. Especially with like I said, that new version of the Running Man coming out, I would really recommend you guys to check out that book because it's a pretty short book. So it doesn't, shouldn't take like a whole lot of time to read. And the old movie, the Arnold Schwarzenegger movie, it's great, like classic 80s Schwarzenegger, but it's very different from the book. And the new version of the movie that's coming out looks much closer to the book. So I think like now is a really good time to pick up a copy of the book. Like it's a pretty short read, you can finish it pretty quickly. And then the new movie is coming out, I think in a couple months or something, right? Towards the end of the year or something, I don't know. But when the movie's out, then you can see the movie, and I think it'll make it that much more enjoyable. kind of struggling a bit here to get these parts of the head together, so bear with me a moment. Sorry, I don't know if I just have something like not plugged in quite right, something here, or just like can't quite get the alignment quite right. That, and it's also kind of difficult to see with how you have all the like these little tiny details and everything's all shiny gold. It's kind of like can't really properly see what I'm trying to do here. Yeah, yes, that is Marcelo. That's one book that King wrote under a pseudonym. Yes, so yeah, it was originally written under a pseudonym, which I can't. It's Ben something. I think Ben. What was it? Which is interesting because it's the same name as the main character of the book. It's also Ben Richards, of course, but the pseudonym that Stephen King used for writing that was also Ben something. No, it's not Ben Hustlin. I don't know. Can't get this on here. Really don't want to break anything, so I'm trying to be like really careful with it, but okay, I think I got it. Jeez. All right. Use sunglasses? Yeah, pretty much. Especially with these bright lights here. This thing's just shining bright. I do want to put the head camera stickers on. Let's see. Which one's which? Are these at least numbered the same? I hope so. Number 8 and then 6 in the front. Okay. Really tiny. Are you going to review the Saturnine box? Is that, you're talking like an HG Build Fighters or something, isn't that? I don't think so. Isn't that like a Build Fighters thing that came out years ago? Yeah. The tiniest little sticker here. Where the heck does that even fit on there? Can't see. Where's that supposed to go? Oh, on the top. Woo-wee. All right, almost done. What's up, Mercenary? Looks great. When is Bandai going to reprint the MG Universal Booster? I don't know about that one. There you go. Got huge mecha. Let's see. Recommendations on clear coat for clear coating and electroplated kit. Basically, I just kind of wouldn't recommend it. But if you're going to put top coat on a plated kit like this, obviously just you want to use gloss coat. As far as the brand or anything, it kind of doesn't really matter, but any good gloss coat really. Yeah. Thank you guys. Patrick said, I'm just kind of trying to catch up in the chat here a bit. more. Yeah, Starship Troopers I've also not read, by Heinlein. That's another one that probably would be a good one to read. That's another one where I love the movie, but I've heard that the book's very different. But still would be a good one to read. Patrick said, I've read Dune 1 through 6, really love them. Haven't compelled myself enough to read books 7 and 8 that finish off Frank's original series. Yeah, it seems like, I mean, if you've made it all the way through book 6, you've probably got like plenty of Dune. It's one of those things like kind of where I know there's even more books, because then like Frank Herbert's like son and or daughter or something like that too also then like continued writing the series, and there's like even more. There's like 15 books, something like that, crazy like that, sort of like Star Wars or Star Trek, where there's just like all these like spin-off novels and stuff. I think like that's like way too deep if you've got that much time. I mean, I don't know, you're like a super fan. But speaking of which, I do have in my collection to read eventually, I do also have a Star Wars novel. I'm gonna draw a blank on the exact name. The one that I got, it's one that I just came across at Goodwill. It's like, and again, like I checked the reviews and looked like it was actually like one of the better ones, where I guess from what I understand, not having at this point, I've not read any Star Wars novels before, but from what I checked online, it looks like it's kind of one of the more highly recommended ones. I can't remember the name, but it's got Darth Maul on the front, and yeah, so it's a novel about Darth Maul, obviously. I guess can't remember the name of it though. I'm drawing a blank. Got that. Also a Halo novel, and like the same thing. Like I just came across it at Goodwill, so it's like less than $1. Checked out the reviews online. Seems to be one of the better ones. So all right, I'll check that out. Sounds pretty cool. All right, Dylan, enjoy your class. Thanks for hanging out. Yeah, the unfortunate thing at the moment is that recently started reading a book that it's kind of very early on, so I don't want to say that it's not very good, but it's not exactly pulling me in yet. at this point, I'm only like a little bit in, only like 20 pages or something like at the very beginning. It's not a very long book though. It's a quite short book. It's a sci-fi novel as well, but it's one that I got like for free from our library. So I mean, like obviously anything's for free, but I mean, like I got it like to own from the library because they had like I think they do it like once a quarter, like a book sale at the library. Well, they'll just sell off like some of their inventory, like either for very cheap or for free. Like they have a section of stuff that's free, and they have a section of stuff that they sell for, like a couple bucks, basically. So we went there, and this like small little sci-fi novel was there in like the free section. So I picked it up. Looked kind of interesting enough. Yeah, then like I started reading it, and then also like checked some reviews just out of curiosity. It's like not very good reviews, but I'll give it a try. But the thing is that like now I feel like I don't want to stop reading it in order to read something else. Like I might as well just finish it. And it's a pretty short one too, but I feel like it might end up being a little bit of a slog to finish this one if it's if it doesn't pick up soon. Which, according to like one of the reviews that I read, said that the beginning's the best part. So I'm a little bit worried. It's the name of it is It's a plague of all something. What is it? Book title: A Plague of All Cowards. That's what it was. Yeah. By William Barton. A Plague of All Cowards. Yeah. It's one of those, I don't know exactly what you would call these. Just being like kind of fairly new to the genre, but like especially, I don't know if this is like kind of still a thing as much as it was, I don't know, maybe at that time, but in, I don't know exactly the time period either, but it seems like 60s, 70s, kind of that era, maybe even like to the 50s, 60s, 70s, where there was a lot of these like sci-fi novels that are like fairly short. I don't know, 150 pages, something like that. Like not very big. So like they're kind of small books. And sometimes like part of a series, sometimes just like a standalone, like Martian Chronicles is another example. But that one, like I said, that I read recently, that one's really good. And I watched, like after reading the book, I watched the TV series. So there was like a made for TV series that came out, shoot, I don't know when. But I watched the made for TV series of Martian Chronicles. You know, not as good as the book, but still like decent, interesting. You know, the book's a good read. The TV series was kind of funny because there's some like recognizable actors in there, which like you might not expect to see like in something like that, but it was kind of interesting because it's like a really good book. So I mean, like it would be in theory like a good one to go for to make into like a mini series or something like that, but it was just kind of okay. The series, fine. Ooh. These parts are well tight on here. Any recommendation? Any recommend? Oh, it's I'm talking about recommendations for Warhammer. Oh. All right. So our wing part here. Let's see, it's gonna go on that side. Yeah, those parts are... I'd be a little worried about this. It might be a good idea to even like sand the peg a little bit, or at least just like scrape it with a knife just to scrape off the gold coating on the pegs of the parts here, like the pegs that hold the wing pieces here kind of in place, because they're really tight on there. And so you're just going to want to be like very deliberate and careful when moving those parts, because it seems like if you're not, you could end up breaking something on there by accident very easily. So all right, that's a wrap on that. We just have the hand parts here left, and I gotta say, definitely a little bit disappointed that the hand parts do not have the hand parts aren't completely plated. I mean, I would have liked if the hands were completely in plated gold, but at the very least, I would have liked if the back part, because all the armor panels are all plated and the inner frame is not. So I could understand like the inside of the hand not plated, but the backing parts should be plated, but all the backing parts are not plated. That's disappointing. And here you can see the difference between like the shining finger here, or the erupting burning finger, or whatever, burning finger hands. isn't like this high gloss, different color, like a little bit more sparkly molded gold, whereas like the molded gold for the regular hands is in the same color as like what's used for the rest of the inner frame. Kind of different there for that. Excuse me. Oof. All right. Let me adjust this here. And that's it for today. We're all done and dusted for another live build. What'd you think of this golden boy? Oh, actually, we're not done. We still have the base to build. Right. Almost forgot. So, this shouldn't take too long. You got your parts here, which you can either opt like this or the other way, like this with Domon and Master Asia. So let me set that up there real quick. Let's see, and this here too. So a whole bunch of base parts. Yeah, any last words, everyone? So once we're finished with the base stuff here, I'm gonna call it a day as far as this live stream goes, and then go work on some other stuff. All right. So these parts here first. I like this base a lot, the Action Base 7, but the building it's always kind of annoying because the parts are like very specific. Why don't I have these parts cut out? Huh? Why did I do that? Huh? Yeah, for some reason I didn't remove the nubs on this part here. Very striking indeed. Yes. Maybe I'll have to start watching G Gundam after I finish The Sopranos today. Hey, there you go. Yes, G Gundam. You know, despite what Adam may say about it, I think it's good. I think it's very fun to watch. Especially because it came out right around, well, I think Wing was first, right? I don't remember which was first, either Wing or G Gundam, but it came out right around the same time. Very different, like, tone between the two of them. Wing, you know, it's very dramatic and political, whereas G Gundam is dramatic at times. And I mean, it's not like goofy, but you know, like it's charming and like over the top in certain ways, but not to the point where it's silly in any way. I don't think. I don't know. Some people would probably disagree. Some people would probably, I suppose, say that it's very silly, but I don't think so necessarily that it's silly. It's just it's different, and there's nothing wrong with that. All right, we got 2 of these and 2 of those where these are kind of like slightly different. Let's see. That's right. That looks maybe right. Somehow, not sure I have those parts correct, but let's see. That's that side. That's that side. Gotta be, let's see. this. The top. Okay. Wing feels goofy as well. I mean, like, Wing feels goofy in a different way. Wing feels goofy to me. Honestly, Wing for me doesn't hold up that well, because the way that Wing feels goofy is that it feels like it takes itself way too seriously. Where, like, it's fine for that series to be serious, as it should be. I mean, based on like the subject matter and like kind of what they were going for it. It's a serious series, but like it's taking itself like way too seriously. Like it was, I don't know. It's a bit over the top in a different way. But no, G-Gun was good. Give it a try. It's kind of like Turn A in the sense that you have to watch it just as an anime series, not as a Gundam series. And I think that's the best way to enjoy it. So if you're watching it expecting a Gundam series, you know, you're gonna have like certain expectations. And maybe, you know, it's not gonna be exactly what you were expecting or whatever, but if you just go into it just, you know, looking forward to just watching some anime. Hang on, bear with me a moment. So these parts should just slide in here, but why is it not sliding in there? Hello? Also, because this is not mine and on loan to me, I don't want to mess up these parts because paper. Should go down all the way, right? There we go. This kind of takes a second. Wait. Nope. In there. I know it's you guys like don't see anything at the moment. I'm just like trying to slide these paper parts into the frame backing kind of part of the base. So I'll show you what it looks like here in just a second. Also, before I forget, today, I think, right? Today is the deadline for the summer Plamo contest. So I've been getting a lot of entries pouring in. Oh, that's kind of disappointing. Been getting a lot of entries coming in. And so if you've already sent in your entry and you haven't got a reply yet, don't worry. I just haven't had a chance to check those yet. But if you have not sent in your final entry for the contest, make sure you get those in soon, because that'll be wrapping up tonight at the stroke of midnight. But I'm always a little flexible when it comes to like the exact finishing time, because people are in different time zones all over the world, and I know it's kind of tricky. I usually just kind of tell people, as long as it's still the 27th where you are, then it's fine. Or that's the 27th somewhere in the world, then you're good to enter. Kind of disappointing that for this base, we have our action base 7, and you have a base plate for that. But it would have been cool if this arm could attach into this base plate, like right here, right? but there's no hole. You could always just drill a hole there, I guess, but if you try to drill a hole in the center, you have this bar going right there, so that wouldn't really work either. So basically what you have to do is just use this base sat on top of this base, and just to kind of show you guys here how that looks. You can swap the paper around to have Domon and Master Asia on the front if you want, or on the back, but that's how that looks there, like that. If you were going to have it looking something like this, your God Gundam in front of it like that, something like that, right? So I'm going to work on the review for this guy probably tomorrow, and I'll have that out for you guys. But what do you think? What do you think? It's very shiny. You like the color of gold? It's a bit more kind of orangish gold than maybe I would have imagined for this. I don't know. I'd have to like look back at the anime again. I feel like in the anime it was more like bright yellow gold, more so than this kind of orangish gold. Looks cool either way, but let me know what you guys think. Yeah. Wish Turn A had a dub. Oh, I mean, dubbing is easier to watch, sure, especially like if you want to put it on like while you're working on a kid or something like that. But I don't know. I'm kind of partial to original Japanese voice acting when it comes to anime, and so in the case of Turn A, I think the voice acting, the original voice acting, is really good, and I would just recommend you to just watch it subtitled. It's going to be the better experience of it anyway. Does it not have a dubbing? That's interesting. I would have guessed that it does, but all right, so that's it for today's live build, guys. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for joining. I will work on the review of that guy. Try to keep it clean of dust and fingerprints as best I can. And yeah, stay tuned for more stuff on the way, but that's it for now. All right, I think that's good. Yeah. Thank you. And Ryan, one last note to you. I'll be in touch about the judging for the contest, of course, but also what I'm going to go work on now after having a little bite to eat is working on getting some primer sprayed on my unicorn. So I'll update you. That's it. That's the stream. See you guys next time. Bye-bye.